Okay, welcome back to After Effects. This is where we left off. We have the ball bouncing with the painting background, okay? I want to make another new clip that we're going to put before this one. And so, to make a new clip, we can still do it in this project. We just do this. Go Composition, New Composition, okay? We make a new comp, and instead of calling it Comp 1, we'll call this Ricochet. If you don't know what ricochet is, it's when an object bounces around really fast. So we're going to do a slightly different thing with this ball to show you some other things you can do with keyframing and the tools and such. So we're going to keep this same size, 1920 by 1080. 30 seconds is fine, black background is great. It's called Ricochet, so we say, okay. Now you'll see we got a new tab here called Ricochet. And our old tab, this tab, if we click on it, this is our other timeline that we did. So we have a new empty timeline with nothing on the screen. Okay, you can see here. This is what we just made, Ricochet. This is the one we just did, Intro to AE Bounce. Okay, so now we're here in Ricochet. You may accidentally wind up clicking on these tabs and being over here. So just if you're suddenly here and you're disoriented, just click on this and it'll open this. Okay, if you want to avoid accidentally opening this, you could just close it. Click on this X. So all you have is Ricochet. If you ever wanted to come back to the other one, you just double click this and it will open it here in this tab, right? And you can reorder them like this by dragging them. I'm going to close it for now just because I don't want to have confusion, okay? In this empty space, I'm going to get the red ball again. So this comp right here that says red ball, pull it in, drop it, okay? And this is just the ball without any keyframes. It's just sitting there, okay? So what I want to do is hit S for scale and make the ball small enough so that I've got some room to bounce it around. I'm going to pretend this black rectangle is just an empty box this time. And I'm going to bounce the ball around inside really fast and then have it go off to the side. And when it goes off to the side, we'll do a match cut to the other clip that we made, so it'll be like a little movie of two different clips. Okay, so let's do this. Pull your time indicator back to 0, scale your ball down to a small size, and bring it over to the edge just so it's touching the side, kind of like we did before, but we'll do it on the side this time, okay? And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to move forward to 2 seconds. That's too much time. I'm going to make it only 1 second, okay? At 1 second, I'm going to turn on P for position, hit P for position, and hit the clock. So at 1 second, the ball is here against the wall. I'm calling this the wall, the edge, okay? And then what I want to do is come back to 0 seconds. At 0 seconds, I'm going to grab the ball and pull it off screen over here, okay? So what this is going to do is create the illusion, well, not the illusion, it's going to make it look like the ball gets thrown in from the side. So it comes from off screen and it comes in and hits this wall and goes boom, like that. So if I hit play, it goes zhp, and stops there, okay? Got that? So 2 keyframes. This first one is ball off screen, and 1 second it's up against the wall. Okay? So I'm going to move forward to like 2 seconds, grab the ball, and say, I want this ball to come flying in here, hit this wall, and bounce, and then hit this wall. So I'm not going to be real precise. I'm just going to randomly make this thing bounce around. So if I grab it and pull it here, you're going to notice something kind of weird, and that is that the motion path curves by default. As soon as I make this third keyframe, I get this, watch. So it comes in and like hits the ball and curves, and I don't want it to curve. I want it to go straight. All right? So this is just a function of how After Effects is set to do this by default, and I want to override that default. The way I want to override that is like this. Select all these existing keyframes, all 3 of these position keyframes, right? So click and drag, or hold your click and hold your click to drag a marquee rectangle over these and select them all. And then go up here to animation and look under keyframe interpolation, okay? This is where we get to change it. If we click on that, it opens up this box. And what you'll see is temporal interpolation, which means time. So dividing your digits for animation over time, it's doing it in a linear fashion. But spatial, which is what we're talking about here, the reason this is curved is because spatial interpolation is set to auto Bezier. We don't want that. We want to set it to linear. Watch what happens when I set this to linear and say OK. It now makes my motion path linear instead of curved. So it goes zip, boom, boom. Sometimes we want it auto Bezier, like if we were doing something that was like a fish swimming around, or I don't know, a cloud moving in the sky. Auto Bezier, that curve would be just lovely. But in this case, we want sort of a violent ricochet where it comes and it bounces that way and that way. It's not actually violent; it's just the way it behaves. It's like if you were doing billiard balls, they don't curve when they bounce directly. Okay. So now any keyframe we make from here on, like this, is going to make a linear path. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move ahead in time, grab the ball, and drag it to a wall. And I'm not being very precise about this. Move ahead, drag the ball so that it hits a wall. Move ahead, drag the ball so that it hits a wall. Like so. Move ahead, drag the ball. Right? And so I'm going to do a bunch of these. And it doesn't have to be precise because I'm going to speed it up really fast. I'm going to put a blur on it so that it just looks crazy, so that it just looks like an excited atom or a molecule bouncing around really fast, or like a super hard rubber ball bouncing around. So I'm moving ahead, dragging it to hit a wall. Watch what this looks like when I shrink my work area down and hit play. Watch this. So when I hit play, it goes boing, boing, boing. That's pretty slow, right? But you see how it's doing. Now if I want to speed that up, I can take all these keyframes, select them all, click and drag, hold your click and drag a rectangle like that, hold down Option, and grab your end keyframe, and you can squish it down, and what it does is it compresses all those keyframes like an accordion. It keeps all their relative distances intact, but makes them happen faster in time. So watch this. So kind of fast. What I might want to do is figure out where these little short bits are and speed them up. So like between these two keyframes right here, this should be much faster. So they're all selected. If I try to grab this and move it, they'll all drag. So I need to click off to unselect it, grab this keyframe, actually grab all of these keyframes up to that point and move it closer. And I really just want all of these to be closer. So what I could do is just drag all my keyframes really close together. There's probably a shortcut way to do this, but I'm doing it manually. What's interesting is watch how the dots move on the line on the screen when I'm moving these keyframes, right? So again, I'm sweating this a little bit. You could mess with it if you want. What I'm trying to do is get them very close together so that the ball bounces very quickly. Let's see what this looks like. If I hit play, that's much better. Huh? Now if I wanted to really speed this up, select them all, hold down Option, grab the end one. Now this is 2 seconds, so all that bouncing is happening over 2 seconds, which is kind of slow. So if I take all these keyframes and crush them down so that it takes place in half a second, watch how fast it'll go. That's actually too fast. Hold on. Hold Option. Let's make it. I didn't think it was going to be that fast. Watch. Maybe something like that. Maybe a little slower. I want it to be fast but still visible. Like I need to be able to see the motion. That's pretty good. Well, now what I might do is take all these keyframes and double it. So I'm going to have this move where it goes bing, 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 and see how it just stops there? What I'll do is I'll select all these keyframes, Command C, copy it, park right after the last one, and paste it. So now I've got the same thing happening twice. It goes dum like that, right? And then what I'll do is after the very last keyframe here, I'll move just a little bit ahead, grab the ball, and move it off screen right. So what'll happen is when I play it, it comes in from off screen, bounces around all over the place, and then when it's done, it goes off screen right. Okay? So you want it coming in off screen left, bouncing all over the place with a linear, reset the animation keyframe interpolation here. You want to set this spatial interpolation. It's going to be, by default, probably set to auto Bezier. Set it to linear and say OK. And that'll make your bounce go straight. Okay? Now, get it going fast. Take all your keyframes and compress them down so that the ball's moving really quickly, because I want to put a blur on it, and blur works better when it's fast. If something's slow, it doesn't really blur. So the way you turn on blur is this little icon right here. It says enables motion blur for all layers with the motion blur switch set. So this turns it on for the composition. So you click on that and it turns it blue, which means it's on. And then on this red ball layer, this same symbol right here, motion blur, there's an empty box underneath it. Click in that empty box, and what it'll do is it'll turn that on, put a little blur icon, and look, as soon as you do it, you can see what the ball looks like. It goes from looking like that to looking like that. Now watch your animation, watch what this looks like. It goes very satisfying fast blur, and then it goes off to the side, okay? Now this is only, what, 2.5 seconds? That's all I need. It's wonderful. And let me pause here, and the next clip, what I'm going to do is put this blur together with the bounce so that it makes one short movie, and then export it as a video.